Some journeys leave you speechless, and some, like today's, leave you deeply inspired. Welcome to Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani, a heartfelt series by Multiverse Entertainment, where stories aren't just heard, they are felt. Today, we bring you a story that shows it's never too late to follow your dreams and embrace your true potential. Today, we are joined by Richard Bhakti Klein, an actor, musician, and voiceover artist. Richard started his life as a teacher in the US, but at the age of 45, decided to pursue performing arts full time and moved to Mumbai. Since then, he has appeared in Bollywood films like Lal Singh Chadda, The Amazing RRR, and X is equal to Prem. He has also done extensive voiceover and dubbing work, blending his musical and acting talent to take on diverse roles. Richard's journey teaches us how passion, courage, and perseverance can transform lives. Hi, Richard. Welcome to our show, Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani. It's lovely having you on our show today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, the first thing that I really want to know from you is, before you decided to come down to India, pursue acting, tell us something about how your life was.
Well, I grew up in South Florida in the Miami area. I lived in San Francisco for about 20 years. I was always a performer. Bachman say I was singing and not really acting though, singing and dancing when I was younger.
Okay.
But it's very hard to make a living as a performer in the U.S. So I was also a teacher for many years by day, taught school children. I first came to India 30 years ago, and I've been coming back ever since.
Amazing. And you were a teacher in preschool, that's what you said?
No, middle school mostly,
Okay.
Maybe 7 to 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your inclination was always towards the arts.
Yeah, it really was. I was always a performer. My first guitar performance was at 10 years old in school.
Wow.
And in San Francisco, I sang in many, many different situations, everything from contemporary a cappella to jazz to rock bands to wedding bands. I was in a folk dance group where we did dances from around the world and songs from around the world. So yes, I was always a performer.
Right. Amazing. So what was that one moment that made you realize you need to come down to India and pursue acting?
Yeah, so as I said, I first came to India 30 years ago and loved it immediately and kept coming back as often as I could. And then about 10 or 12 years ago, I thought to myself, can I just stay? And I didn't come here to act. I didn't know what I would do here. I came to India because I love India and I wanted to live here. But, there's an old saying, especially for foreigners, if you love India, India loves you back. And for me, it's been completely true. And so as performing opportunities came up, I jumped at them. And now I'm happy to say it's a dream come true that I'm a full-time artist.
Wow. Yeah, because I was very keen to know, what brought you down to India.
Yeah, I was raised Jewish. My grandfather was a rabbi, so I was raised pretty religious, and religion was always important to me. In the Jewish religion, we're taught to always ask questions of ourselves, of the world, even of God. And so religion as a subject was always very important to me. And so in studying religion, I studied Indian religions and just always felt drawn here. So I first came here and felt at home immediately. And kept coming back, and then I really just wanted to stay.
Amazing. It's interesting to know how, the universe just pulls things in your favor and brings you to a certain place.
It's really true, and I think if you can be in tune with that and have the courage and the confidence to follow that, then I think you can be taken care of. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So when you came down to India for the first time, maybe the time when you were staying in Mumbai initially, you must have gone through a lot of challenges and tough times?
Yeah, I guess so. I shifted here permanently about 12 years ago.
Right.
But for the first 3 or 4 years, actually what I did was I worked in California as a tutor for 6 months and saved all my money. And then I would come here and just live on that for 6 months. So I didn't have a lot of money at that time.
Right.
But the challenges are really the challenges that any Mumbaiker face. I in a lot of ways, I felt more comfortable here than I felt back in the States. I feel more culture shock when I go back to the U.S. than when I'm ever here. So, but the usual big city challenges, the usual Mumbai challenges of traffic and pollution are always there. Yeah. But still, even through all that, I love it.
Right. And that also puts me up to a question that as an actor, we always don't have a full-time job, that's bringing in a lot of money or a consistency of income. So, there are times when I'm working continuously and there are times when I have no work at all. How do you balance this?
Yeah, for sure. And I do other things. I do a lot of voice work, voiceovers and dubbing.
Right.
I do sometimes do a little teaching. I teach singing. So I balance that out. But I like not working full time. I like life in the U.S. can be very, very busy and very stressful. And I like having time to read and to talk to friends and to walk around the city and to really live life. And it's a blessing to have that time. I'm very lucky to have that time. Right. So when I'm working very hard. I just got back from a shoot where I was doing 15-hour days, like a few days in a row. So yeah, as an actor, when we're working very hard. Yeah. And in between, sometimes I'm getting ready for a role, sometimes I'm doing some of these other small jobs, but I'm also just enjoying being here.
Amazing. Okay. So, your first roles, your speaking roles, how did that change your approach and confidence?
Yeah, it was, I was a singer for so many years in the US, and I came here and I sort of didn't want to start over with singing. I was a little bit old to start a rock band, that kind of thing, and I had done lots of singing. Right. So when the opportunity came along to do acting, it was amazing because it was the chance to devote myself to a new performing art form that I hadn't done before. And you get the thrill of doing it and having a good day and thinking, oh, maybe I can do this, and applying everything I learned about performing in singing and dancing to acting, and then really trying to study the craft on its own, and slowly becoming more comfortable. I learn from every set I'm on. I try to stay close to the set, and I learn from every actor that I work with. I learn from every director that I see, and it's a continual learning process. But I love learning about the craft. I love learning about creating art. So it's the whole thing is such a joy.
Amazing. Okay. You need to tell us the highlights of working on these films, like Lal Singh Chadda, X is equal to Prem.
Yeah. Lal Singh Chadda was a whirlwind experience. I really only worked one day on that. I'm in just one little scene. But they flew me, actually we shot in Kashmir. So they flew me from Mumbai to Kashmir for one day. We shot all day. They flew me back. Amir Khan was there running around, like directing everything. It was a big production, lots of moving parts, but it was really a fun experience. X equals Prem was fantastic. I really love Srijit Mukherjee as a director and as an artist, as an auteur. He's, he works on 3 films at once, right? He's editing his last movie, he's shooting his current movie, and he's writing his next movie. He's a true artist in my book, and borrows, like all artists, borrows from other great artists. And so, one interesting thing about him as a director, I was on set and I was asking him questions, how should I do this? And he said, you do whatever you want. My directing happens in casting. So once I cast somebody, that's the person for the role. And then I want them to be themselves. I want them to do their thing. And once I've chosen them, then let them go, because that's really where I do most of my directing.
Right.
And for me, I thought that was brilliant and very liberating, because then I could bring whatever I wanted to the character.
Whatever shades.
Yeah, and he approved of all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing to know. Okay. Your British accent and voiceover skill. How do you think they've helped you in your career?
Yeah, it's coming from a singing background.
Yeah.
You know, I hear dialogues kind of as music.
Right.
So, like if I'm dubbing, I hear that there's some actors that really don't like to dub, and I understand that they
Yeah.
give a performance in the moment,
Right.
and then coming back into a studio to reproduce
Yeah.
it, it's hard to capture that.
Yeah.
But I love doing that, because for me the dialogues are music. So I hear the rhythm of the music, the rhythm of the dialogues, and then I do the dubbing that way.
Okay.
And there's a lot of overlap in performing in all performing arts.
Yeah.
I still teach singing,
Mm.
and one thing I tell my students is, you know, singing is the only musical form, obviously, that has words and lyrics, and that's a big part of the communication.
Right.
So I tell my singing students, the words that you're singing have to be true for you. You're playing a character when you're singing a song, a character for whom the words that you're singing are true.
Yeah.
And the truer they are for you as a singer, the more the audience will feel.
Right.
And so it's a similar thing in acting. The more that you're really feeling it and experiencing it, the more you are that, then the more the audience is picking up on that emotion.
Right.
So yeah, there was a lot that I could take from singing into acting and into dubbing. Yeah,
Wow, that was fun.
yeah, really fun.
Yeah. Okay. And you have, yes, told us, but there are more directors with whom you worked with. You worked with Amir Khan as a director. You worked with Srijit Mukherjee as a director. Co-stars like Tapsi Pannu, Junior NTR, Ram Charan. How has that experience been?
Yeah, I've been very lucky to work with a lot of the greats,
Right.
and what I really appreciate is that most of them are very humble on set, and they're very dedicated to making the whole movie, the whole piece of art, as solid as it can be in terms of working with their other actors. I was in a scene in Donkey with Vicky Kaushal,
Right.
and who's an amazing actor. He brought so much to that, and working with him was just such a great experience and such a learning experience. Yeah. Yeah, I've really been lucky enough to work with a lot of them, and they've all been so generous with their time and with their experience, and so I can ask them questions, and just watching them, watching how they work, watching their preparation, watching how they are on set. I've learned so much from all of that. Yeah.
So you haven't been to an acting school as such. Everything has been learned on set.
I haven't been to an acting school. I've taken a number of private lessons,
Okay.
and I've certainly taken workshops.
Okay.
And I've taken lots of singing and dancing
Right.
lessons when I was younger.
Right.
But no, I haven't actually gone to an acting school. I'm just kind of drawing on all my performing experience and just learning everything I can as much, from everywhere.
Okay. Okay. How has living in India shaped you personally and professionally?
Yeah, I feel here that people really see me as myself and let me be me and let me be the best version of myself. They see the love that I have for this country, and they really respond to that. It's given me a chance to do what I love and be able to survive, make enough money to survive. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to live my life. And the opportunity to do that while still enjoying people and still living life the way that I would love to has been a gift. Yeah.
So, for anyone who feels stuck and dreams of a change, like a major one, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I shifted here at about 45 years old, something like that. I dropped everything in the US. I quit my job. I didn't know what would happen here, but I was following my heart. And it's not easy. There's so much sacrifice.
It's like a gamble.
It's a gamble, and it's a huge sacrifice. you have to leave so much behind, and you have to close the door to a lot of things. But I always tell people, dream a big dream, and then figure out what the small steps are to take to get there. And then do those small steps one at a time and enjoy those steps, right? And then before you know it, happiness will find you.
Wow. That was truly fun. Okay. So we've had an amazing conversation with Richard, and now we're going to move on towards a quick rapid fire round.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. So, coffee or tea?
Subah mein coffee, sham mein chai.
Okay. Favorite Bollywood actor?
The late great Irfan Khan.
Absolutely. Favorite place in Mumbai?
Carter Road. I love Carter Road and Cardanta, that whole area.
Okay, you like chilling there.
Yeah.
Okay. Playing an instrument or acting? Which do you enjoy more?
It's a tough question, right? I like playing an instrument at home and with friends, and I like acting as work with other people.
Right. So there can't be like a choice.
Yeah, for sure. I want to do both.
Okay. What's your go-to snack on set?
Fruit. Fresh fruit.
Okay. One hidden talent we don't know about.
Oh, I can do an impression of a drop of water. You ready? Yeah. 1 second.
Whoa.
I can do an impression of a drop of water.
Wow. Okay. Early morning shoot or night shoot? Which one is easier?
I mean, of course, neither is easy, but I'm sort of an actor with a musician's soul. I like to sleep late and stay up late, so I'd have to say night shoot.
Night shoot. Okay. The last film you enjoyed working on the most?
I just got back from Jaipur shooting a new film called White Coat.
Okay.
Written and directed by the incredible Loam Hirsch. And I think it's really coming out well. It looks beautiful. It's a great story. We'll be shooting that for another few months. Hopefully it'll come out next year. And very proud of that one. Really looking forward to
Wish you
that
all the
one.
best for that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. One word to describe your Mumbai.
Home.
Amazing. Okay. A dream role that you would like to play?
I would love to play Einstein in a biopic of him. I think that would be really fun.
Wow. I don't know who could have thought of that. That's amazing. So that was an amazing rapid fire session with Richard. Through the journey of Richard Bhakti Klein, we learned that courage, passion, and perseverance can transform a life. From teaching in the US to performing in India's film industry to acting alongside international stars, his story reminds us to follow our hearts and embrace opportunities fearlessly. Thank you, Richard, for joining us on Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani. Until next time, keep celebrating stories worth hearing and let every journey inspire you to live your full potential. See you.